Starting a YouTube channel literally changed my life. And in this video, my 100th video on this channel, I want to tell you how it happened and how you can achieve it too. My life before YouTube was very, very different, completely different to what it is now. I had the standard life, let's say. I graduated from university, I got myself a good job, and I was working hard on that job, and I'd been promoted a number of times. I was working in London, but commuting in there every day. I was part of the rat race. I was fixed in my location. I was ruled by my boss, I guess. You're ruled by the corporation. And importantly, I never really saw myself as a creative, a problem solver, someone who was very logical, good at what they did, but I didn't see myself as a creative. But I've got to be honest, by the end of the 10 years working in corporate, I wasn't depressed, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with, well, I don't think I had a sense of purpose. And then there was a changing point. I had a health scare. It was okay in the end, but I decided that there was more to life than this, so I decided to travel. This was before 2020, this was in 2019, and I got about 6 months traveling before the world changed. And then obviously everything shut down, life went on hold, and I started to watch YouTube and social media, because before that I didn't really do it, but with nothing else going on, that's what I turned to keep the travel bug alive. People ask me all the time why I started YouTube, and the truth is, I was sat watching YouTube one day, and I didn't really like the video, and the person next to me said, well, if you think you can do better, why don't you start your own channel? So it lit something inside me. I picked up a camera and I filmed my first video, but it didn't really go as planned. Now I've got to be honest, YouTube wasn't my first attempt at social media. The first thing I tried was a blog, failure. The second thing I tried were a few Instagram pages, all failures. And then, as I said, I posted the first video on YouTube and nothing really happened, just a handful of views. And I kind of gave up on it. I forgot about it and I thought, okay, I tried, YouTube isn't for me. Maybe I can't make a video as good as what I saw when I was watching it with my friend. And then a few months later, something happened. My phone started to get notifications of comments coming through and likes on that video. And the algorithm had found it and it had taken off a little and started to get views, a lot of views. So that made me think, maybe there's something in this. I'm going to commit. I'm going to commit to filming one video per week and post on YouTube and see where it took me. Now, it wasn't easy. I'd never filmed before. I'd never edited before. And I'd never spoken on camera before, other than that first video. Editing one video was taking me 1 to 2 weeks. And let's be honest, when we all start, they're not exactly the best videos. But what I had was a mindset that on every video, I would do one small thing to make it better than the last one. And actually, the compound effect of that is huge. The other thing was, I didn't really know how YouTube worked. It was all a bit of an experiment for me. And part of that was not really defining my niche. I wanted to film food, I wanted to film travel. I also tried doing some videos in, well, I branded myself as anxiously abroad because, well, yeah, you may not know if you watch the channel, but I suffer with anxiety and it's quite hard to leave the house sometimes, or it used to be. So I tried to combine that with travel. And then I wanted the adventure stuff, you know, getting on a motorcycle and adventuring or walking in the mountains. I wanted to do everything. And what I learned very quickly was YouTube doesn't really like that. You need to find your audience. And actually, travel YouTube itself is difficult with that anyway, because your audience is changing by country and interests change by country. I learned very quickly that you really need to define yourself and you really need to label who you are, and the algorithm needs to learn that. But the biggest problem was actually none of those. The biggest problem was chasing views. Now you might think that YouTube is all about chasing views, and it is. That's how you get paid eventually when you're monetized. You get ad revenue off the amount of views. More views, more money, essentially. However, you want the right views. Being a travel channel, when I was going to each country, I was just trying to get as many views as possible. And when you look at other people's channels, you tend to see within your niche, whatever your niche may be, that certain videos, certain titles, certain topics do well. So I was just chasing those, and actually what you end up doing is chasing the same videos as everyone else. You don't really differentiate yourself. And yes, you get amazing views. On the channel, my first channel, we'll come on to that, I was getting hundreds of thousands of views, even one that was racing to 1 million. But what it was from people only interested in that very topic of that very video. They were one-time viewers. So whilst it was good for my vanity, and it was good for you guys to see that I was getting a load of views, it didn't actually do that much for the channel. If anything, it hampers the channel, because when you post your next video, YouTube will try and show it to those people. They won't click it because they're not interested. And then that video dies off very, very quickly. And as you grow further with your subscriber count, and this goes further, it becomes more of an impact. It snowballs until the channel literally just dies a slow death. I didn't know this, and I was just chasing, and I was getting more and more frustrated. All the effort I was putting into the videos, thinking I was improving, and the views were just declining and declining and declining. I just want to say a little bit on YouTube monetization, because I thought, like everyone else seems to think, you just pick up the camera, make some videos, and then the money starts rolling in. Let me tell you, YouTube is hard. It's a fair old slog, and things do not happen overnight. It's definitely a marathon rather than a sprint. To get monetized, if you don't know, 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. Now you might think the watch time would be the hardest, but for me, it was the subscribers. I got the watch time pretty fast because the views were good, but people weren't subscribing. So it actually took me over a year to get subscribed on YouTube. And it only came because I collaborated with, well, what is now a friend, but I collaborated with another person who had a bigger channel, and it got me over the edge. But over 12 months of not earning anything, having left my job to go to a salary of 0, it is a fair old slog, let me tell you that. Now, the first check, again, not the millions I expected, not the thousands I expected. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but let me tell you, it wasn't much at all. I think it was something like $30 or $40. Not exactly going to change the world, is it? But what it did do was provide me some validation that I could do this, that I could make something of this. But it was difficult, I'm not going to lie. I'd quit my job. I hadn't been earning for over a year. I'd been living off savings, and my first paycheck being $30 or $40. And then beyond that, it took time to build up. It wasn't really happening. I said I was chasing the views, but not the right views, and views for all of the wrong reasons. And I was getting a bit frustrated. I was stuck in a place where I wasn't making videos I wanted to make. I was making videos for the algorithm. And even then, things weren't really working out. My channel, actually, it had some crazy success. It went from 5,000 subscribers to about 30,000 subscribers in a matter of weeks. And it sounds amazing, but I think that was what really killed the channel. And then I persisted with it. And I kept trying to make it work, and it wasn't happening. I was getting more frustrated, more effort into it, and it just, everyone says, oh, stick with it, YouTube will come around. So I did what only a madman would do. I quit the channel, I stopped posting on it, and I started a new one. But that's where things changed for the better, and the struggles kind of ended. So yes, the big change was that I ditched the channel, Hungry to Explore, and started a new channel, JoeyP. This channel, when I ditched it, I think it was on about 42,000 subscribers, millions of views, and it was making a decent amount of money, livable money. So it was very scary. I wasn't sure if I was making the right decision at the time. I thought about it long and hard, but I did decide that I would do it with a few aims. I was going to put everything I learned into practice. I was going to be super consistent. I was going to post every 3 days to build the channel, because let me tell you guys, consistency on YouTube is the biggest thing. And not only does it compound your improvement, because if you're constantly filming and you're constantly improving, you're just going to skyrocket that.
but it's also great for the algorithm. And let's be honest, if you're not posting and you're not filming, then how can anyone watch you? It's the only way to get views, right? You need to post minimum twice a week, but I decided on every 2 days, consistently. No excuses, no matter what, I would get that video out. I also didn't want to chase the wrong audience. I wanted to really focus on the right audience, and that's why I started a channel here in Madeira, targeting UK and US audience, being really careful with that. And then when I did travel, also watching it very carefully to make sure the videos were with the right audience, and if not, I would delist the videos and make sure they stopped, just to build the right audience on the subscribers. And then eventually the algorithm would learn this is the type of audience that likes my videos. And so far, guys, 17,000 subscribers, it's been successful and earning more money than it has ever done. I monetized in 2 weeks this time, not 13 or 14 months, 2 weeks, making the right content, targeting the right people, using all of my knowledge. Now, it's still a slog, it's still a marathon, not a sprint, and I think that was also a big learning. YouTube is a long game. YouTube is not short term. You need to build, you need to learn, you need to become consistent, and you just need to put yourself out there, and that takes time, a lot of time. And I wanted to stop comparing myself to people who had been doing it longer than me, because initially I was looking at people's videos and I was thinking, oh my God, how are they so good? But they've been doing it 10 years. I've been doing it 2 months. That's not fair. You wouldn't do that in any other part of life. So you wouldn't do that in the YouTube or the social media world too. And then also harness your network. If you have any job in any other part of life, putting yourself out there and making a network is really important. So yeah, I tried to do that as well. And so far, so good. So I think the lesson there is, if you want to be successful on YouTube, you have to treat it like a job and you have to take it seriously. The other lesson is, YouTube ad revenue doesn't pay enough consistently, especially if you're not one of the massive YouTubers, so you need to get there in the end. So I decided to build products around my channel, become something valuable and indirectly sell a product. I'm not for these gurus who try and sell you everything, but I'm a travel and a food channel, so I sell maps and guides on the back of it, and it works really well. And now the channel has grown and I have the right audience. I can now target brand deals, and I've started to put sponsorships on the channel, and I can start to get on press trips. It all adds up. Trust me, you do not want to rely on the volatility of YouTube views and YouTube ad revenue, not for a while anyway, not until you're big time. And I'm not there yet. Anyway, this is all great, but how has it actually changed my life? What's my life like now? Is it worth pursuing this crazy career? Let me tell you how it's improved my life and completely changed my life, because I wasn't lying when I said that. So that's all very well and good, but how has YouTube changed my life? And it has completely changed my life. If you remember before, I was stuck in a job that I didn't want to be in. I was in a fixed location, living in London, not really happy with that, and actually just not really happy in everything. Now, I live on the stunning island, the stunning Portuguese island of Madeira. I love it. I have freedom. I can work when I want. If I want to take a day off on a Wednesday, I can do it. If my sister visits me for a week, I can film ahead of time and then take a week off. I don't have a boss. I am my own boss. And that flexibility is incredible. I can choose to live here. I can choose to live wherever I want, because essentially I'm a remote worker. Better than that, I can travel. And travel has become a massive part of my life, a massive part of me growing as a person. I mentioned the anxiety, and this channel has really helped me to push my way through that, because I made a commitment to film. I didn't have a choice. I had to get out and film. So it's made me do things that I wouldn't normally do, out of my comfort zone, and it's made me grow as a person. Not only that, it's made me grow a new set of skills that I didn't have. The speaking, the public speaking, because it is public speaking when you're in front of, well, not now, but when you're in front of a lot of people sometimes, all looking at you, thinking, what are you doing with the camera? It doesn't bother me anymore. But editing, filming, using camera, cinematography, I'm trying to increase. I know you'll comment and say, I'm not really there yet, but I am trying to increase it. But then just experiences. riding a motorcycle from Bangkok to Malaysia, traveling across China, walking across the mountains on this beautiful island for 7 days. The experiences I've gained through this channel for taking a risk and living my life are incredible, and I wouldn't change that. Financial freedom has probably jumped backwards. I earn less money than I ever had, but I'm happier and more content than I ever have been. And that is a big thing, and it's a big thing to realize when you've been in the corporate world. And it's a big thing to realize that if you do chase your dreams, you can make changes in your life and you can improve your life and just become a better person with it and a new skill set. I think now, if I decided to quit YouTube, I'm sure you'd all be happy, but if I decide to quit YouTube, I have skills that I could actually not go back into IT or not go back into corporate world. I could do something different with them, something I want to do with them, and that's incredible. And beyond that, friends, new friends, of course, when you go down a different avenue, you make new friends, and I've made best friends from doing this. Confidence in myself, to put myself out there, but also just that you can make changes in your life. You do not need to be stuck on the path that you're on. Yes, okay, it actually all stems back to a health scare where my path changed and my mindset changed. The mindset that there is more to life than just running the rat race. But you don't need to wait for that, right? I'm sure you have ideas in your head that you want to do something different, or you're not quite happy with how things are. It doesn't need to be travel, it doesn't need to be YouTube, whatever it is, you can do it. If you are thinking of starting a YouTube channel, you can also do it. And if you do have a YouTube channel, you can grow it. It is possible. If I can do it, trust me guys, any of you can do it. So yeah, all fantastic, wouldn't change any of it, but it's not without its challenges. And despite all of those positives, YouTube can still be a challenge. So I just want to touch on a few of those before we end the video, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and you should be aware of that. Just want to go over a few ways my life has changed on the other side of that. Not that these are complaints, just part of life being a YouTuber. So, the unstable income. Obviously, if income is linked to views, ad revenue goes up and down depending on how many views you get each month, and also depending on who's watching, how long they watch, the topic of your video, all sorts of things. Brand deals come and go, press trips come sometimes. My point is, when you have a proper job, usually you know how much money is coming in each month. With YouTube, you don't. So that can be a bit of a challenge. The second one is that, at least before on my other job, even though I was making my way up quite high, I was able to switch off at the end of the day. With YouTube, I never seem to be able to switch off. I'm either filming or editing or thinking about filming or thinking about editing, or thumbnails or descriptions or titles or improvement, or watching it to do research, whatever it is, I'm always thinking about it, almost 24/7 when I'm not sleeping, of course. Again, I like this. Nothing is stress, so it is stress-free, but it is difficult to switch off, and that can have a little bit of an impact on some of your relationships if people aren't used to that. So surround yourself by the right people, of course. The other thing is, although I can make more videos that I want to on this channel, you are still a slave to the algorithm. You still do need those views, and you still do need to churn out that content. I said you need to be consistent, but you also just need to churn out content, and it almost feels like you can't have a break. I mean, I can't remember the last time I had a holiday from doing something. I genuinely can't remember that. Again, not complaining, just reality. The next one is, there are so many people now on social media, especially on YouTube, breaking through. That is really difficult, and it can sometimes feel like you're shouting to no one. So building your little tribe and your little community is very important, but it can be a bit disheartening sometimes seeing other videos do well when you think yours is better, or just not being able to get out there for the sheer numbers. It is crazy, but it's great. I want everyone to succeed and support each other and build things together. If they succeed, I succeed. This is how I think about it, but it can be a little bit tricky sometimes. And making that worse is that there seems to be no correlation between hard work and talent. Not saying I have it, but hard work and talent and success. In a normal job, if you work hard
and you're talented and your boss isn't a bit of an asshole, you're generally going to work your way up the ladder. However, on YouTube, it sometimes feels like flipping a coin. I can't quite work out sometimes why a video does well and why a video doesn't do well. And that can be a bit frustrating. Let's leave that one at that. So yes, life is not perfect, but that's the same in everything, right? Nothing is perfect. And if just a few money worries and other things like that are my biggest concerns, then I'm not doing too badly, am I? There are definitely more ups and downs in this complete change of life that YouTube has given me. I'm excited, I'm looking forward, I'm motivated, more motivated than ever to create content for you guys. And yeah, if you're part of this journey and you have been here so far, thank you. If you're not and you're new, subscribe please, I would love that. And I hope this video has shown you doing this, taking a risk, changing my life, starting a YouTube channel has completely changed my life. And whatever it is for you, it doesn't need to be YouTube. Whatever it is for you, you can do it too. You've just got to start. Take care, guys.